Robertson. Is it Julie Robertson? Is it also, I don't know how to say the Bliven.
Bliven.
Bliven. How are you,
Yes.
Julie?
I'm great. How are you, Sean?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, we've got to go through the questions. So who or where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kalispell, Montana.
Oh, Kalispell, Montana. Very cool.
Yeah.
Who shared ER Shred with you?
Danelle Ball. She's here on the call tonight.
Oh, cool. Then I'm gonna reframe it. Who is the superhero who shared ER Shred with you? How's that?
Danelle is the superhero.
That's cool. Thank you. Thank you, Danelle. And what is your passion?
Well, I've got a lot of them, but the one I think I'd like to share is my profession. I'm a physical therapist, and I've been a PT for 22 years. And I think it took me a long time to get there because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life when I was young. And I actually got a degree in political science and philosophy. And I got out and I'm like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I was also an aquatics instructor and kind of working at a health club. And that kind of led me towards physical therapy. And so I went back to school for a whole lot of years and became a PT. And then for the last 10 years, I've been teaching now. So I'm a professor in a physical therapist assistant program. So really, I love it. I absolutely love it. I get to share knowledge with my students, the passion with my students. I get to empower them to go out and help other people and get people back to their, living their best lives and getting back to where they want to be.
Awesome. I'm going to probably talk to you just a little bit about my experience with injury and recovery, but what was your ER Shred experience? Like, just whatever comes to mind, whatever you feel, felt, found, whatever whatever benefits you might have realized or how it might have impacted your life.
Yeah. So I had done Isagenix in the past, and I had success on it and really enjoyed it. And then over the past year, I myself have a long-term kind of knee injury. I do Taekwondo, and I had kind of destroyed my knee early on 17, 18 years ago. And it just, kind of got to that point where it got worse. So all of a sudden I couldn't do Taekwondo anymore last May. And I also, turned 50, and it's like all of a sudden, bam, perfect storm, gained weight. All of a sudden I wasn't doing what I like to do, wasn't feeling how I wanted to feel. And then kind of over the holidays was kind of the last straw. I went back to Wisconsin to my home and ate a lot of cheese and, drank a lot of beer and did all the bad things in Wisconsin that, it's kind of fun. But, and so
Indulgence.
The indulgence. That's right. And so I was, feeling bloated, feeling terrible. I have been on and off battling gallbladder problems for probably over 10 years. I had to have it removed, but I'd had a gallbladder attack about 10 years ago. Really, as long as I was eating pretty well, I did fine. And of course, after the holidays, it was flared up. So I was feeling pretty awful at the beginning of January. Danelle shared with me about the shred. And so I thought, okay, well, good timing. I'll look into it. So I didn't prepare the way I should have, like Kathy did. I did the opposite. I did the wrong thing. So don't do what I did. I kind of just jumped in and did it. I, read a little bit as I went along. I, for the most part, stuck to it and I did well with it. And I have to say, I thought, okay, I'm having this gallbladder flare up. The last thing you're supposed to do is eat fats.
Pretty counterintuitive, true.
Right. But I was finding that when I ate a lot of salads, that would kind of make it feel worse. It would flare it up a little bit. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'll try it. If it doesn't work, guess what? I don't have to do it anymore. So I thought, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to go all in and do it. So after 2 days, before I even got to the cleanse, my gallbladder pain was gone, just eating fats. I ran out, I kind of binged on the guides as far as just what I needed to get started. I ran out and got the grass-fed butter. I got, the meat. I didn't get grass-fed right away, but then I did find it. And I felt so much better after 2 days. And then I did the cleanse, even better. I didn't have my big, come alive moment during the first shred, only because I also came down with bronchitis and ended up having to go on antibiotics. So I finished out the shred, but wasn't feeling awesome.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people don't actually, you know, some people it is the second, third shred, you know, there's no real, you know, we don't have to put a number on that, but all I'm saying is, thank you for mentioning that, because a lot of people, they have that expectation. We need to just remove those expectations.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, you know what, I want to do this again when I'm feeling better. So then, it was probably a few weeks, month later, I decided to do the shred again. And, but I still had success. I mean, I lost 7 pounds and, you know, it worked. I just wasn't feeling great because of being on antibiotics and everything else. So then I got my husband to join me for the second shred. He had never done Isagenix, was totally reluctant. He has, multiple food allergies and intolerances. He's allergic to dairy. He's, you know, a lot of other things. But he said, you know what, I need to try something too. A lot of, you know, inflammation, feeling awful, gut problems. And so I said, you need to try this with me. So he, like Kathy said, he completely tolerates the incubated shakes. He has absolutely no problems whatsoever. He can do the grass-fed butter. And he, I think, you know, he needs to do a little bit more testing out, but he did the shred with me. And so the second shred, I'll get back to him in a minute, but the second shred, I was probably, I don't know, not day 5, but day 6 is when all of a sudden just bam, switch just flipped. And so I woke up that morning and I was, you know, just kind of a little bit tired. And then all of a sudden I woke up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have energy. And I'd slept so well, the best night of sleep I'd had in months and months and months. And I was going out to run some errands and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to try pulling on this pair of jeans that I haven't been able to button in months. And I pulled them on, I buttoned them and I'm like, dang.
Dang. You're like, dang.
These are buttoning. My belly's flat. And oh my
I can
gosh,
see it in the, I can see it in the mirror.
Back
like,
again
what?
After I turned 50, but my belly looked 30. And I was like, wow. And so all the bloating had gone. And yeah, I just had so much energy. So kind of like I've heard people saying, you know, on posts on Facebook, I was cleaning everything and, you know, just going around like a tornado around my house that day. And so finished out the shred. My husband finished out the shred and he felt amazing. He thought he would never be able to give up Diet Orange Sunkissed was his thing. So he ended up using the hydrate and finding that really helped. We ended up getting him the orange hydrate too, because then he loves the orange flavor. And he lost 14 pounds and I couldn't get him to measure. He hasn't measured, but he did phenomenally and feels so much better and less bloating, less, you know, gas, less all that. And so I think what he really needed to do, even more so than I did, was, you know, really eliminate and find out what he could add back in. So the other thing I'll say, I will admit I did wrong. I knew I shouldn't have. But I got cocky and I was like, oh, well, I've never had food intolerances. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just eat when I'm done with my shred. And so I ate healthy. I made the last day after my second shred, I made, you know, this great piece of fish. And I love cooking. I love Asian food. I love Thai food. And so I got miso paste and I did this big soy thing and, you know, did the glaze and ate that. The next morning I woke up feeling like I had the worst hangover of my life. I didn't have any alcohol. I just had
no alcohol.
No alcohol.
It
was a soy hangover. I found out later.
Yep.
And so I thought, well, how did this happen? I don't have food allergies. I don't have food intolerances. And I think I had just cleared my system so well that I didn't realize how much I was affected. And so now since then, I kind of had that, you know,
pause,
so
please pause
like,
right here,
here. Wow.
This moment right here where you say, I didn't realize how bad that stuff was making me feel. That's the truth. That's the truth. It is not true that you got so pure that you like damaged yourself and, you know, like you got so pure that now you like can't even eat any. That is bull crap. That is bull crap. You just gained the ability to feel and interpret and discern, right?
Absolutely. And so now you know, that kind of woke me up and I thought, okay, so I had probably a headache for 2 days after that. And so then I, you know, kind of went back to the, you know, the steak and shake, and I didn't do the shred, but I went back to the steak and shake. and started, kind of dialed it back and kind of said, okay, I'm going to do better, and I'm going to try adding things in a little bit more slowly. So, so we're going to start. So my husband and I are going to start our third shred with the group next week. I'm excited. So now,
thank you for mentioning that. That is summer.
I learned
it starts
from
April
my
4th.
mistakes.
April 4th, right?
April 4th. Yeah.
April 4th. It's summer bodies are made in the spring. Well, thanks for giving a shout out about the group shred. That's awesome, because I should have mentioned that.
Yeah. So I'm going to get my husband to do it again. So he's excited about it. We're getting ready for it. I'm going to read more of the guides. And like I said, and I think that's what's so good about this process too, is it's not punishing. It's not punitive. You can forgive yourself when you screw up, because guess what? I can just go back on the shred again, and I know it's going to work. And so, we went on spring break last week, went on vacation, and I indulged a little bit, but I knew what I was doing, and I was conscious about it, and I was paying attention to how I felt. And I'm like, you know what? I had this and this and this, and I don't like the way I felt. And so it's more of that mindfulness. I read this article, I think a week ago, by a health coach. She'd been doing it for 20 years. And she said, a lot of times my clients, what doesn't work is they get into this deprivation mindset. If I'm in this mindset where I have to deprive, I'm going to want it, and I'm going to give up, and I'm going to throw in the towel, and I'm going to punish myself when I make a mistake. And so I thought, well, that's what's so great about the shred, is that it empowers us to take the information we learn, to listen to our own bodies. I keep hearing that over and over. I hear Jesse on Facebook saying that, listen to your body and find out what works for you. We can't tell you that this bite of food is going to be good, or this bite of, food is going to be bad for you. You have to listen to your bodies, become conscious of it, become aware, and choose what works for you. And so that way we're empowered to choose what we can do for ourselves, and what we can tolerate, and what we're willing to, try. We're going to pay attention to how we feel. And maybe we're going to make those choices not to have that because we feel like crap. And so again, it's not someone saying, you're terrible, you can't eat this, this is bad for you. You're figuring that out yourself. And so then when you want to have an indulgence, you're not going to punish yourself over it. You're going to say, okay, move on. I don't like how I feel. I'm going to go back and do what makes me feel good.
As a health professional, by the way, what you just said, God, you're genius. Thank you. You're brilliant. You're a health professional, and I invite you to continue to contribute. Please show up, because this is our tribe. We're all, offering up our talents, our gifts. We're all the collective. We're all throwing our logs on the fire. I would love it if you would, and continue to, because you're very with it. You get it. And it means a great deal. It actually means a lot. Real quick, what was it you thought about this when you first heard as a health professional? Were you like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah. Well, when I first, started looking into join the Facebook group to kind of, a few days before I started the shred to get some background information, it was when everyone was doing the butter challenge. And I'm like, these people are nuts. They're like taking these chunks of butter and they're eating them. And that's disgusting. And so I'm like, who are these people? Then I'm like, oh, these people are kind of weird, but I like it. And in a good way. So then I was like, yeah, I got it. And I was like, okay, I get what they're doing, and I read a little bit more, it's not keto, it's not, paleo, it's something, it's this unique blend. It's taking hopefully the best from everything. I listened to your video, and yeah, the butter shots, I heard that. And by the way, I thought I would never, ever, ever like butter coffee. And now I love butter coffee.
Love it. Yeah. You love it.
And mix it up, and I add a little bit of shake to it, but, and I have an awful sweet tooth, and I thought I would never give up my white chocolate mocha, and now I don't want it anymore.
How long has it been since you had that white chocolate mocha?
Well, I tried one again last week when I was on vacation, because I was, vacation.
Indulging, yeah.
This is sweet and disgusting, and I can't wait to get back home to make my butter coffee. And so, yeah, I mean,
there's just a shift, right?
It was a shift. And again, it's a discovery I made and a choice I made for myself. And now I don't feel deprived for not having my white chocolate mocha. I feel like, yeah, I don't want it. I'm making a choice now.
I hope that women, especially on this call, are starting to understand, like, I hope everybody will just feed enough with the right things so that you don't crave the bad. That's what happens, guys. If you feed enough of the right things, you won't be drawn to those wrong things. You've got to satiate. Everything you've said is so spot on. I really appreciate all of this. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we let you go?
Oh gosh. I can't think of anything.
No problem. No problem. Everything you shared was mass value. And the last thing I just wanted to say really quickly, as I let you go, is just that I personally had 3 year-long plus injuries, okay, that wouldn't heal. They wouldn't heal. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't heal. I'm just telling you, I had a tear in my piriformis, I had a tear in my delt, and I also had a Baker's cyst in my left knee. And I'm not going to make any claims because I know better, but I want to say this. If your body is fighting the war of inflammation, I actually think that your body is preoccupied. It's distracted. It's spread too thin, and it has a hard time healing. That's my belief based on what I experienced personally, because when I got off all of the inflammatory inducing things, when I eliminated, everything changed for me. Everything changed for me, and I was back and whole and strong and stronger so fast that it was creepy, just creepy. The human body, as we always say, Jesse always says, it's just magic if you're giving it what it should get. It's magic. All right. Thank you so much, my friend. You're awesome. Guys, Julie's a health professional. I just got so excited about that endorsement. Thank you so much, Julie. Your endorsement means the world. We'll get you the check in the mail.
Well, you all talked me into it. I mean, just, with all the energy on the Facebook page and the board, and I'm like, okay, I think I can hang with these guys. And well, and I did. Oh, actually, I have one more thing I have to say. Sorry.
Sure.
I'm, being healthcare professions, everything's evidence-based. You can't get from insurance companies unless you have evidence showing that it works. And, I saw a lot of anecdotal evidence. I talked, a lot of people posted about what was happening with their labs, because a lot of people, the whole, you're eating meat and butter and fat and salt, and that's bad for you. And so I ran some literature searches in the medical databases, and I haven't spent a lot of time reading it yet because I have my day job, but I did come across some, pretty good evidence and articles. So some of big meta-analysis, which is kind of the highest level of evidence, they take a bunch of studies and pool data. And there were articles out there comparing, kind of your traditional heart healthy diet with more of the, high fat, keto type, butter meat diet. And they're really, people their cholesterol did not go up. Their heart health did not get worse. And so, there's evidence out there showing that, this kind of way to eat is legitimate, and that it's, we have this ancient way of thinking with the old food pyramid with our carbs, and basically it was supporting this evidence that's, this is kind of old way of thinking, that we should be switching our thinking in the way that we eat.
Awesome. Yeah. I dig it so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah. We appreciate you, Julie. Everybody really appreciates, your perspective. So, thank you so much. Our last